Oh, excuse me.
Is
So
that going to be in the final cut?
sure. Hello, folks, and welcome back to Around Our World in 80. Yay! And we are again in the bedroom hiding so that we don't wake up the baby. So this week, it was another case of something that we already had planned, coinciding with a movie that we picked around what we already had planned. So this week, we actually had a trip planned with my family to Zion National Park, which was so much fun. And so we were brainstorming and we were like, well, we could do Big Brother. But I think it's more like an Alaska feel. So we actually settled on Pocahontas.
Which is Virginia, which is also completely different.
Yeah, the terrain is different, but I think the spirit of, colors of the wind and, being in the environment and learning about the land and appreciating...
Sense of adventure.
Yeah, that too.
This was Color of the Rock, not so
Color
much
of
wind.
the Rock. There was definitely some wind. It is now time for the history of Pocahontas according to Wikipedia.
Ta-da.
Oh yeah, we got the one little light over here. So if you don't know, Pocahontas was released in 1995. It was the 33rd Disney animated feature film, and it was directed by Mike Gabriel and Eric Goldberg. The project of Pocahontas went into development and was developed concurrently with The Lion King, which came out in 1994. They decided that they kind of wanted it to be more of a serious romantic film, kind of like Beauty and the Beast. Beauty and the Beast was a serious romantic film.
It had a talking candlestick.
This one had a raccoon.
Yeah, at least the raccoon didn't talk.
You have to admit, though, Pocahontas has actually some, serious parts in it where they're, addressing some real serious, heavy things that they're dealing with.
Yeah.
Pocahontas was released on June 23rd, 1995, with mixed reactions from reviewers who praised its animation but criticized its story. They say that the film's racial overtones and historical inaccuracy also garnered a mix of condemnation and praise. Pocahontas earned $346 million at the worldwide box office, which was seen as a great disappointment compared to the gross of The Lion King. Although it's kind of hard to compete with The Lion King, just saying. Pocahontas received 2 Academy Awards for Best Musical or Comedy Score and Best Original Song for Colors of the Wind. Now, you may or may not know about this about me, but I was very much obsessed with Pocahontas when I was growing up.
Imagine that.
So to be fair, I was a part of the Indian Princess program at the YMCA with my dad, and I had a lot of fun. And I was just kind of obsessed with all things Native American in general at that age. I even had a Pocahontas. I know, right? I had a Pocahontas journal, and I'm pretty sure I sing Colors of the Wind all the time. I don't know. There's something about this movie that I've always loved, and I really wanted to be Pocahontas when I grew up. I'm pretty sure I wrote a poem about wanting to be Pocahontas when I grew up in kindergarten. But yeah, I loved this movie and everything about it. And I've watched it several times growing up. I'm pretty sure there was one point where Jared turned on Pocahontas on Netflix, maybe a year or 2 ago, and literally the first beat of the drum part came on, and I'm like, oh, you're watching Pocahontas, and you're like, how did you know that? It's because I watched it that much when I was a kid.
I remember that.
What did you think of the movie?
Yeah, I mean, there is a lot bigger messages in it than I remembered, I guess. Just from the whole, love not war, basically, thing. watching it through today's eyes, I can see that there'd probably be a lot of people in our culture that would just freak out over that movie.
I was a kid growing up that really hated conflict. Like, I really hated it when my friends fought or disagreed about things. And this movie, I just remember as a kid in this movie watching and seeing, especially during the part of the songs where they talk about savages. And it's like, the savages, savages, barely even human. And like, both sides were singing it about each other.
Mm-hmm.
And that always really stuck with me whenever I was a kid, because it made me see how, yes, people can be different from you, but if you just assume things about people, you never get to be friends.
Everyone is right in their own eyes.
Yeah.
I mean,
and so
we find that in scripture too. It talks about that a lot.
Yes, it does. But yeah, so like, I just remember that as a kid, and I always wanted to assume the best about people. At some point, I became very, very cynical because people didn't give me the same consideration.
Out the window. Roll the window back up.
But I think as I'm getting older, and especially after watching Pocahontas this week, I've been trying to get back to that, where I assume the best about people. It's taken me a few years. So, we did go to Zion, and I think this was the first time that we went on a family vacation with Ray, with my extended family. And it was awesome. We had so much fun. So we left on a Friday, very, very early in the morning. And even as non-Rose, we were actually pretty comfortable. Ray got her own seat on both legs of the flight.
Say good morning, Ray. Airplane.
So we actually flew into Las Vegas. That was interesting. That's a very loud airport.
And you have 1,000 slot machines in the terminals, all dinging and clanging and making noises to attract saps.
Well, and then there's like tons of video monitors with like whatever show somebody's putting on or something like that.
Penn and Teller,
Yeah.
Elvis impersonators,
Yeah.
some other magic guy.
So, in all fairness, it was a very loud airport. Then one of the cool parts of traveling there was it takes 2.5 hours from Las Vegas to get to Zion, and you actually travel through 3 states. You travel through Nevada, Arizona, and then you get to Utah, which is where Zion National Park is. And you actually end up going through a time zone change. But the drive out there was gorgeous, and we just got more and more excited the further that we went. All right, babe. Welcome to Las Vegas.
So with the time changes on our drive, we ended up getting there still well within the morning hours. And so we weren't able to check into the hotel right away. So we went and got some lunch because we'd been up for quite a while. And then after some lunch and getting changed, we headed off into the park to do our first hike of the trip.
Hi, baby girl. Where are we?
On top of Dad's back.
Where are we?
On top of Dad's back.
We're in Zion. Hello, everyone. We are in Zion National Park. We finally made it. We had a little snafu with our room not being ready, but we are on our way now, finally. And we're gonna go catch the shuttle and just do some of the easier hikes. And we got the whole crew. Baby girl's really happy up there. Say hi. I need to put your hat on. And then, if you don't know, Mom, brother, and then we're all following Dad. Yep. Alright, got our annual pass. Whoop, whoop. Ready for some fun in the sun. Okay, what trail are we going to?
Emerald Pool.
Okay.
Lower Emerald Pool, the Keniana, and then the Grotto. So this is the plan. Go right up here. Got an optional extra mile we can add on to go to the top. And then the Kayenta, the Grotto back should be about 3 and 4 miles.
so beautiful, like you. Alright, end of the trail. So the following morning, Jared and Mitchell and I woke up really early to do Angel's Landing. And I feel like people might need a little bit of a preface on this hike to understand exactly what we were undertaking. That's a pretty good description. Basically, we climbed 1,500 feet in what, 2 miles?
The gradient wasn't super steep, and it's a fairly steep climb up there, but it was a paved path all the way until the last quarter mile.
Yeah.
It's just 1,500 feet in a little over 2.5 miles, which isn't bad at all.
But the reason why it's named Angel's Landing is because the original settlers there thought that only angels were able to land on that particular peak.
It was so high and so
treacherous
getting up there.
Yeah. So we decided to undertake it, and it's basically a bunch of switchbacks, a little straight path, a bunch more switchbacks, and then you basically, like Jared was showing, you climb across a ridge to get to the
very narrow ridge
to get to the top. And I have to say, it was probably one of the best experiences for me. I was definitely getting a little bit scared. A lot of scared. The views and just the fact that I accomplished that hike, mentally, not just physically, was a really big moment for me. Not gonna lie. I was saying I was feeling slightly caffeinated, but it feels really good out here. Doing comic art. We are breakfasted, we are coffeeed, we are shuttled, and we are about to do Angel's Landing. Alright, Jared, so what are the specs on this hike as far as mileage and elevation go?
It's 5.4 round trip, 1,500 feet roughly,
Up and down.
elevation gain. Say it takes 4 hours. We're gonna try and knock it out in a little shorter time than that. But
Maybe we can get it. Alright, here we are, embarking on Angel's Landing. So where are the switchbacks?
right there.
Oh. Alrighty then.
You can see the big brown rock
Yeah.
in the middle of it where that white stripe is. Go
Uh-huh.
to the left, and you can see a little switchback in there.
Alright, yeah.
So you go straight up that face,
Sweet.
and then that is Angel's Landing up there.
Oh, so we're going up there.
We're going right there.
Okay. Are you ready, Mitchell? Okay.
Going up there.
Here we go. Alright, so we're about 30 minutes in to the hike. I'm already dying. These are so cool. So we've been going almost an hour, which I don't think is too bad for this hike. But this is our view. We're basically at the top of the switchbacks, but if you can tell, we're now going to be traversing this ridge, which I think is going to be the part that takes the longest. And it's quite windy up here. Update. We basically I think we're halfway up to the ridge from the beginning of the ridge. From Scouts Landing. So we're going there. And this is our view. Oh look, it's a squirrel. Hello, Mr. Squirrel.
Welcome to the top of Angel's Landing. Got this tree growing up the side of the rock.
We made it. I want one of those. We made it, Mitchell. Enjoying the views.
This was worth it right here. The whole climb. I don't even need the view. This was totally worth it. It's like, you jerk. Stop taking it away from me. Hey, dude. Hey, dude.
Goodness. So Mitchell's right there. I mean, this view is just gorgeous. I could just stay here. Find a tree, put up a hammock, call it good. So when we got back down, it was crazy crowded. But when we got back down, like the line for the shuttle literally looked like Walt Disney World.
Oh, yeah.
It was a little bit ridiculous. And then the traffic was terrible. We ended up actually, because the traffic was so bad, they actually weren't sending shuttles back out to the town. So we ended up having to walk back to our hotel. It was only like 1.7 miles. So it wasn't that big of a walk, but it was still like a little bit ridiculous on the traffic. This is the line for the shuttle buses now. Okay, so to give you an idea of the crowds that we're looking at right now. So the way they have the bus stops is they have like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 with one overlapping like the same number one in the park. And so basically the visitor center is the epicenter and they get counted out from there. So we started walking at the visitor center at bus stop 1. We passed bus stop 3. We're about to hit bus stop 4, and traffic is still backed up as far as we can see. It's crazy, and it's like not moving.
We're about a mile from the entrance of the park already.
Yeah. And we are now at the Zion Brewery, right outside of the park. And we had a slight meltdown with the baby, but now we're here. And hopefully getting lunch because I'm hungry. And then we're going to do the Riverside Trail. What's the trail called? Riverside? And it leads to the Narrows. The Shawarma Trail.
You holding your bottle, Reagan? Are you holding your own bottle? Yeah. After lunch and reuniting with little Reagan, we went out and did another hike called the Riverside Walk, which was just basically the entryway to the Narrows, which we didn't get to do because that's a long...
Treacherous.
It's not real treacherous, it's just wet. You need special equipment to do the hike, or amazing resolve, one of the two. Because it's 8 hours in knee-deep, ice-cold water, so...
With the potential of flash floods.
With the potential of flash floods. So we didn't sign up for that this time.
It was still a gorgeous walk.
Yeah, we hiked to the entryway of that, and then that was our last hike for that day.
Longer than 15 minutes. It takes about 40 minutes to ride from the visitor center to the last stop, the end of Zion Canyon.
Last stop, that's where we're
Your
going.
safety is important.
The Riverside Walk Trail starts here and follows the river. Explore the river, see a hanging garden, look closely at the sandstone, and enjoy the birds and wildlife while you are here.
Reagan. See, that was a fun bus ride, wasn't it? Yeah, it was. Alright, and we're off. So, this is where we are, and that's where we're going. So if you look close, I don't know.
Aren't you supposed to always be with somebody?
Eh? Oh yeah, they are. See him?
You can see where the water's going.
We'll deal with that.
Yeah. Now that we've played around.
So then the following morning, we got up early again so that we could beat the crowds, and we did a little trail that was underneath a peak that was called the Watchman, and it was basically the first like peak as you go into the park. And again, just gorgeous views. And I love how each trail that we took, you just got a very different view of the valley. And it all literally looks like a painting.
Day 3 of Zion National Park, and today we're going on an early morning hike on the Watchman Trail. Keep going up. Yeah. Man, look over there. Oh, that's crazy. Just taking in the views right now. That's awesome.
It's quite windy up here.
So this morning we walked like up this canyon and around and up here.
Yep.
And this is the Watchman.
Here.
Okay, we're
You want us to
simulating.
multiply pour? Really?
Yeah, let's do
So
that.
this is
Okay.
this is Angel's Landing. This is where we were yesterday. So we're gonna simulate flash flood conditions.
We got an extra bottle, Dad.
Okay.
Ready?
Ready?
All right.
Go.
It's raining. It's raining.
Flash flood! Ah! Everybody run!
This is what we call being ridiculous.
Ridiculously fun.
Ridiculously fun.
Yes.
Telling you, I am loving the facilities here at Zion. They have these like really nice water filling stations.
Oh my goodness.
After the Watchman, we actually got back in the car and we drove like to the, I think it was the east
Towards
side.
the east entrance.
Towards the east entrance of the park, and you actually had to go through this really long tunnel to get there. And it was crazy to me because you have the valley that we had been in, and then you go through this tunnel and like the scenery changes and the trees are different and the rocks are different. It looked like a completely different park, even though we were in the same place. And we went to a place that wasn't necessarily on the official like National Park Service maps, but it was on the hiking project that is put on by REI. The story behind this part of the park and the trail that we were on is this is a place where water basically rushes down the rock face and it collects in these little areas that have eroded away that look like many pools. And you can actually see like where the water's eroded away, different channels, and it's just a very, it looks like a different planet at some points, but it's very, very cool. And there's like little tadpoles and frogs
A lot of
that
the water, yeah.
live in the water that's left behind.
Hello.
Okay, so we're in the car right now, and we're headed to some trails on the north side of the park.
East side.
East side?
East side of the park.
My bad. My bad. But this one's happy. I'm playing with her toys. We got some beautiful views. Whoa,
They put a little window on the side.
that's kind of cool. Okay, so what trail is this?
Many pools.
The Many Pools Trail. And it's like you go through this tunnel and it's like a whole different section of the park. Like all the rocks look different and the trees look different. It's pretty intense. What?
There's light.
Little
I
tadpoles.
wonder if it'll last long enough to get in.
Look how the rock.
You see this vein going through the little rock, right?
Yeah. So the water just kind of swirls as it goes down.
A couple of friends.
Look how blue the sky is today.
Yeah.
It's awesome. Look, a pool.
Jump in there,
More
Mitch.
nasty. More nasty water.
This is pretty spectacular. Oh, this is so cool.
What?
Fish in there or something.
A frog.
Frog. 2 of them.
3 of them.
Oh, you see them?
There's 2 right there on the rock.
Oh, yeah. I didn't even see those. I was looking in the water.
Oh, there's one way down at the bottom, yeah.
So that makes 4.
Oh, this is where that waterfall is. Or potential waterfall.
Yeah.
Must be spectacular with water.
But look how they're like little succulents. They're so cute. Look at a tree sticking out of the rock there.
That was a fun one.
That was fun.
Have the rest of the life of mobile Euro cell phones. Yeah, you need it for these.
Little pine cone still attached
Hanging
in the middle of the desert.
After that, we went to one of the other more popular parts of the park. This was our last day there, and we went to Weeping Rock, which is just a giant rock face that has water literally streaming out of it. It's all the rainwater and stuff coming down the different narrows and canyons and stuff off the top of the mountains, and it seeps into the rock at the top, and then it hits a layer it can't permeate. And so instead of going down through the rock anymore, it goes straight out the sides. And you get these giant weeping rocks all over the valley. And the one named Weeping Rock is actually, I don't know, 400 or 500 feet across, of just this waterfall just kind of coming out of a rock.
And then they have
really
plants that like are literally clinging to the bottom.
Yeah, there's a
of
big
the rock.
hanging garden on the side of the rock because all the plants getting water.
We also saw a
That's really
raccoon.
We saw
So-
a trash panda.
So Miko ended up in our hike. So by the time we did Weeping Rock, Ray was pretty exhausted. We had been going and going and going for 3 days at that point. And so we had originally wanted to climb up to one of the overlooks, but she was not having it. So instead, we went on a trail. I don't even remember what it's called, but it's the one that goes right along
Payroos.
the Payroos Trail, and it goes right along the bottom of the canyon. And honestly, I think it was one of the best last hikes we could have done, because we could for 360 degrees see the whole entire canyon as we walked out of the park. And it was a nice way to, we crossed over the river a couple times, and it was a nice way to say goodbye and appreciate the scenery one last time. So, as Reagan's trying to explain, we are at Weeping Rock. sang Great Big Beautiful Tomorrow more times than I can count on that hike.
Because Reagan was not happy.
Because Reagan was not happy. So the food was actually phenomenal in Zion for being the middle of nowhere. It's definitely a tourist town, just explicitly for people that are visiting Zion National Park. But pretty much everybody that we went to had gluten-free options. We went to this one Thai restaurant. It was fantastic. Everybody loved their food. And then we ended up at a place called the Spotted Dog, right? And like
last night.
from the outside, I wasn't expecting much, but then on the inside, it was gorgeous.
It was really nice.
And the food was phenomenal.
It was pretty good.
And it happened to be the day that the day that we ate there was Mother's Day, and they gave Mom and I little roses, which I thought was a nice touch. So yeah, we just had so much fun on this trip. We hope you enjoyed watching the incredible scenery that we were able to capture. If you have any questions about where we ate or
How to get there,
logistics, places we stayed, please ask in the comments, and we would love to get back with y'all on that. And until next time, we will see y'all later.